Alright, guys, so heartbreak sucks, right? And especially when you thought that she was the one that you were gonna, start a family with and get married to. Like, it's definitely a awful feeling. But today I want to talk about how you can't let it define you, especially as a young dude. I've seen guys completely lose their momentum in life because they either got dumped, their girl cheated on them, or it didn't work out for whatever reason. And I've been there, man. Like, you invest so much time into someone and, even money, but like mostly time and effort into someone and it doesn't work out. It's tough, man. It could really hurt, right? But what I hope is becoming a common theme on this channel is the importance of perspective. And, when I was younger, I couldn't grasp this idea that everything happens for a reason. It's a cliche and I just looked at it as that. But as I'm getting older, it's becoming more and more clear that everything really does happen for a reason. And that includes heartbreak and, the depression that comes after a relationship that you thought was the one ends. So my last girlfriend, I'm not going to lie, I really loved this girl, right? She was beautiful, sweet, super social. She was a little bit older than me and like super good with my parents, my family. So I thought she could be the one, right? Like, that's how I'm looking at this. And usually when that happens, it ends up being 10 times more painful down the line, but we'll get to that. So she seemed too good to be true, and that turned out to be the truth, right? So I came to find out pretty quickly that she had this weird toxic trait where she would start fights over like the stupidest things, and it was just something that would drive me nuts, right? Like, we would be fighting about literally the stupidest things. Like, I'm talking about, like, she'd ask for a piece of my steak, I'd cut her a piece, and she'd be like, "Why'd you give me that piece? Like, are you kidding me?" And it would become like a whole fight over like something like that. And this is a girl who's so sweet otherwise, right? So it was really like, whoa, like, I was not expecting that. And it turns out that, when she was growing up, she had a rough situation with her dad, and she was really close with her mom, but there was a toxic family environment. And this is why she liked to fight, because she spent so much time fighting, I guess, as a young girl, that it brings her comfort, which was like so insane to me. And I don't know, guys. I grew up in what I like to think is a normal family. We had our problems, but we didn't, I never had comfort in fighting. I can say that. So, but I wanted her to be the one so bad that I devoted all my energy towards making it work. So despite all these fights, some were bigger than the food. You know what I mean? Like, I would want to go hang out with my friends would be a huge problem. But like typical relationship things, but she was a little bit more controlling than, your regular girl. So it became this constant stress, and it took literally all my energy to entertain. Like, I loved her so much and I wanted to work so badly that the fights would really get to me because I needed this to work, which is crazy looking back at it, because she wasn't as affected by the fights. If anything, she was using them to her advantage to get what she wanted. And that's a whole nother personality trait that, I learned, again, like, red flag. But it ended up taking all my personal, like, all my headspace, all my personal goals, all my professional goals, they ended up taking a back seat to this relationship and keeping it alive. And long story short, I finally ended it, which at the time was so hard to do. I wasn't sure if it was the right decision or not, which is crazy looking, in retrospect. It's insane that it took me that long. And all this to say, you guys, I was super upset for, a while. And I was having thoughts like, why does this have to happen to me? Like, I wish I never met this girl. But the reason I'm making this video is because now I can say that I'm glad I went through this, right? Because if I didn't, I would just make the same mistake with another girl. and end up wasting more time, more energy. My goals would take a backseat again. So yeah, guys, this is all to say, like, heartbreak is completely normal, but don't let it take control of your life. Turn it into a lesson, because it's all part of the process, right? Like I said, everything happens for a reason, and it's possible to just let it take control of your life and completely lose track of your goals. But if you can just learn, use these bumps in the road, use these failed relationships as lessons, you're going to become a better person, and it's all part of the process to finding that right girl. So now I know what I 100% am not compatible with. It doesn't matter how good looking the girl is. It doesn't matter how sweet she is or how nice she is to my parents. What matters is that she's helping me achieve my goals. She's not trying to create problems for me. She's trying to make my life better. And I'm doing the same for her, right? So that's it, guys. Basically, all this to say, everything happens for a reason at the end of the day. And you need to learn from these failed relationships. Don't let them eat you alive. Even if, the circumstances are different, just learn, guys. There's always a lesson in a failed relationship. And if you don't learn from it, then it's a waste of time. But if you take something out of it, even the smallest thing, it becomes a positive. So that's it for me, guys. Peace.